The government of Kenya today confirmed its first case of pandemic virus into the country. And immediately that announcement was made by the Cabinet Secretary for Health, Mutahi Kagwe, the impact was being felt almost instantly. For example, at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, which is one of the busiest airports in East Africa, it was a pale shadow of itself. People were not as many as they are normally. In fact, I don't think even it was 1/10 of the any day. And I remember Isaac Mwaura, who is a nominated senator in this country, taking a photo of himself inside a Kenya Airways plane. He was almost alone. In supermarkets, there were cases of panic shopping. And most supermarkets even reported and issued public notice that Kenyans should not panic because they have enough supplies. You know, in this country, because the government announced that there will be no public gathering for 30 days. Most of them, I know, interpreted that to mean a lockdown for 30 days. So they went and purchased everything which they believe can take them throughout the month. And some of the items which were being purchased were disinfectants, sanitizers, tissue papers, and things like those. And on the streets of Nairobi, hawkers were already selling the face masks. And even the matatus were already providing Kenyans with sanitizers, which I found to be very good and interesting at the same time. Because we also know that Kenyans are not used to basic things like hand washing. Something which is very basic. Kenyans are not used to it. So now they're being forced to wash their hands. And when Mutahi Kagwe made that announcement, reggae was stopped. That is politically speaking. I want you to listen to Mutahi Kagwe.
The decision was to ban all public rallies. There is no exception. Let me say.
So when Mutahi Kagwe made that announcement, it was clear that reggae had been stopped. And I went through online because I like going through Twitter and Facebook, specifically on specific people. And the comments were very clear. The allies of the Deputy President William Ruto were very happy that reggae had been stopped because the DP had promised to stop the reggae. While on the other side, the supporters of Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta were very cautious because they were not even sure whether that rally will go on. Remember, Raila Odinga had promised Kenyans that reggae will not be stopped. But now, naturally, reggae was being stopped. The allies of the DP could not stop the reggae. Raila Odinga could not continue with the reggae. So a natural calamity stopped the reggae. But what is the impact of that? Let me just read for you what the office of the president, there's something they've issued, a circular to all regional commissioners and all county commissioners with the sufficient copies to DCC, ACC, chiefs, assistant chiefs, going down. Resuspension of all public gathering. So there will be no public gathering. It's saying the National Security Council, through recommendations of the National Emergency Response Committee on Coronavirus, has directed all the national government administrative officers to coordinate and enforce the following measures with immediate effect in order to prevent the outbreak and the spread of COVID-19 disease. It's saying, number one, suspension of all public visits to prisons for the next 30 days. So you can't go to any prison in this country today because that's a measure. You can go there, infect, and you know, there are so many people in those prisons, so the infection rate can be bad. Number two, suspension of all inter-school gatherings, either for sporting purposes or otherwise for the next 30 days. I think that's okay. Schools are opened now, but inter-sports, blah, blah, should be stopped. There's no need for them to continue. Number three, they're saying suspension of all mass stroke public gathering or meetings of any nature for the next 30 days, which means BBI rally, which was scheduled for Nakuru, has been banned. Then he's saying suspension of inter-agency, inter-institutional, and inter-religious gathering for the next 30 days. And let me report that Nigeria reported a case, but that case was treated, so it's now free of the coronavirus. So in Kenya, we expect that in the next 14 days, if there will be no new infections or new cases confirmed, then we'll hope that the country will be safe. Because this lady came from the USA through London, then went to her home in Ongata Rongai. So the government is trying to trace all those people she has been in contact with. You know, she traveled on 5th. And we are talking of 13th today. That's 8 good days. But now that's not the main issue. The main issue is this cancellation of the BBI rallies, in my view, is a big blow, a very big blow to President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga. And I know the Deputy President, William Samoei Ruto, is very happy man where he is today. Why am I saying so? Why am I saying so? And by the way, before I go into that, Saudi Arabia has banned flights from several countries. China, Italy, I think Denmark, there is Kenya, there's Nigeria. So they issued that communication yesterday. So which means this case, they had known about it maybe by yesterday. So how is this going to affect the two principles of BBI? Number one, which is something which is very serious, is the time frame of the Building Bridges initiative. When Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta had the handshake, they had 9-point agendas. And they condensed this into Building Bridges initiative team. And this team went around and identified some of the issues, collected views of Kenyans, and they launched this report. And because this is politics, BBI is about politics, 2022 politics, I am sure and certain, because I know, that these guys had a time frame of achieving their goals and objectives. They have a time frame when they were intending to even conduct the referendum. And because we don't know whether this 30-day ban on gatherings will be suspended or it will be cancelled before the 30 days. So there's uncertainty about public gathering. That means the time frame has already been interfered with. Remember, James Orengo was saying they needed the referendum by July. And I think there were talks that the referendum should be conducted by September. So assuming this ban on gathering will continue on for the next 30 days, then again, after 30 days, the government realized, okay, this case is still not well managed. Another 30 days, let's say it continue again up to 3 months. It will change the Building Bridges initiative completely. Because remember, these guys had pushed these things and they were only left with the 2 meetings. They were left with the meeting in Nakuru on 21st. Then after that, the final one in Nairobi. So which means now they have to wait for the next 1 month to see if the situation will be okay. And the organizers will have to wait until the government will announce that, okay, the country is now okay, people can move freely, meetings can go on. And even if that will happen, the Kenyans I know will still not attend those BBI rallies for fear of this pandemic virus. So this time frame is going to be affected badly. And because remember, BBI has time frames. From the time it was gazetted until the time it's supposed to, the public participation is supposed to happen. There's a time frame. So if this thing will continue, it might interfere with the referendum process completely. You have to believe that. Number two, we all remember that President Uhuru Kenyatta personally took the initiative to convene a meeting with all governors from the Rift Valley. It was the first time President Uhuru Kenyatta was involving himself directly with the Building Bridges Initiative meeting. Remember before, it was Raila Odinga who would have met with the governors. It's Raila Odinga who has been meeting with the organizers of these rallies. And after the effects from Meru, it was clear that if the president had not intervened, there was going to be a big problem. And to avert those problems, the president decided to take his personal initiative onto this venture. I don't know so far, because I know so many in Rift Valley. They've conducted several other BBI meetings, consultative meetings. I know there was supposed to be some happened in Kericho yesterday. There was Bomet. There was some in Eldoret today. Was it yesterday or today? Several other areas. Some were supposed to happen over the weekend. But now, the efforts by the president, I think it has gone to waste. Unless the governors will still take it seriously by that time. Because the moment the president personally met with these governors, I am sure the president was even planning to have other meetings with the core team from those areas. Or probably he had prepared a team to work. Or they had started mobilizing for the success of that meeting. So all those efforts have now gone to waste. Number three is the Rift Valley headache. I've always maintained here that the biggest headache the organizers of the Building Bridges Initiative have had is how to manage the Rift Valley. And partly how to manage Central Kenya. But remember, the Central Kenya is now done and dusted. They were remaining with only the Rift Valley. And in their own wisdom, and I think I explained this earlier, they decided that the best thing for them to do was to split Rift Valley into two. So that they hived out the Maasais from the larger Rift Valley, so that the issues affecting Maasais were dealt with separately. The idea behind that was to create this narrative that Rift Valley is ideally not one, and to ensure that the Maasais will side with them. And then they were supposed to have two other rallies, Eldoret and Nakuru. And because there were promises of violence in Eldoret, these guys decided to have consolidate those rallies into one in Nakuru. Remember, Nakuru is a cosmopolitan town, just like Eldoret. So they decided, let's put this thing in Nakuru. Now they've planned everything, and it has been cancelled, which means that headache is still being carried forward to the next few days, or even few months, or even, I don't know when this case will end. So that headache is still there. So in my view, the Building Bridges Initiative rally, which has been cancelled in Nakuru, is going to affect Raila Odinga and President Uhuru Kenyatta's game plan. I know publicly they might not accept, but that's the reality. The other reality is that the allies of the deputy president, including those here on this platform, are very happy that finally reggae has been stopped. So for how long this reggae is going to be stopped is what they still don't know. But again, in politics, a day is a long time. So within these 3 months, we never know what's going to happen. Because at least for the first time in this country, we are not going to be subjected to those weekly politics. Even our news are going to be different. But anyway, on this channel, we will still be discussing politics. But I know generally the political temperature in this country is going to go down, which I think, in my view, is something good we should celebrate. I don't know what you think. But if you're bumping on this video for the first time, I want you to let me know. I want to ask you a simple question. Which side do you belong? Are you pro-BBI or anti-BBI? But before you answer that, if you are bumping for the first time, just do a favor, hit the subscribe button now so that next time we produce a video like this, you get notified. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys so much for your continued support. I'm very happy that the channel has really picked up again. We had a bit of slowdown between, say December or January. Around December or January, we had a bit of slowdown. But the channel has really picked up, and I'm so happy, especially those who continue to like the videos, those who continue to share with their friends, those who continue to inform their friends. Like I was meeting someone yesterday and I was like, you know, Lee, I'm one of your subscribers, but I was referred by somebody. Something like that. So just refer people if you can. You know, you always know those friends of yours who are into politics. Just refer them here so that they can also be useful. Because on this channel, what we do, we really like listening to ideas. Thank you guys. And please, may you have a good day.